Two, one. We're live. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What is good? Let's wait for some people to get in the chat. We are officially live. We are officially live. Let's wait for some people to get in the chat. How are we doing? We got some good sports on today. It's the start of the NBA Cup, as they call it. And I guess we can kind of start there with the NBA Cup. I want to kind of wait for some people to get in the room, but I did have that on my agenda to kind of talk a little bit about the NBA Cup. Um, I'll just go ahead and get started. I think we have a slate of games tonight. Let me see. Let me see who plays tonight. NBA games. All right, the NBA Cup starts tonight. We got the Pistons and the Heat. They're in group stage B. Hornets and Magic, Celtics and Hawks. That's a decent game. And then we got the Knicks and Sixers, Suns and Jazz, Bucks and Raptors. And I swear there's some good games today. Let me see. Where's the good games? Oh, yeah. Warriors and Mavericks. Clay's return to Chase Center up in Golden State, and then Timberwolves and Trailblazers. So mediocre games. It's really weird that the NBA has started. It hasn't really cracked through. Just LeBron aging and these superstars aging the way they have. The NBA is waiting on college basketball. When we ain't watching that shit. Nobody's watching college basketball. Shane, that's the god honest truth. Um, College basketball is in a dangerous space as well. I think basketball in general, we got to do something, man. We just got to do something. Granted, college basketball has played a lot better than the NBA as far as in between the lines, but again, we haven't had a major star outside of like an American star in college since Zion. The last few years, we got Chet. Well, we had Chet Holmgren, we got Wemby, but it's just not the same. Our prospects that we're getting out of the states aren't any good. No, it's just not no good, bro. It's just not no good. I'm just telling you. I seen who's playing today. The fuck. What did I just see? I just seen somebody on ESPN. Edie was dominating, but nah, I'm not the star power. You know what I'm talking about. He don't got the star power at all. Cooper Flag looks good. White boy ain't gonna get it done. Just ain't gonna get it done. Just not gonna get it done. But let's get back on topic. NBA Cup. I know you do not watch the NBA much, Shane, today, but the NBA Cup starts tonight, and I really just want to throw it out there and say, who the fuck even knew? Like, I seen the NBA try to promote it last week. They started some promotions last week on some commercials and stuff. But if you guys remember last year with the NBA Cup, it was a big ordeal. It was a big thing. And that's why they had LeBron and them win that thing just to kind of promote it. That's my belief. But this year it's kind of been a little bit more subtle. Last year, like the players was held at gunpoint. Adam Silver had them at gunpoint, if you guys remember. And like every commercial, every interview, they had to talk about the NBA Cup. They had to like fake be excited that like it was a weird place. Granted, it did help with competition early in November last year into December. And if you guys remember, the tournament was actually pretty decent. It's pretty decent. But I'm just kind of talking about the layout. The courts were horrible. Shane, do you remember the courts? The courts was absolutely god awful. I think they've gotten away from the solid colored courts. So thank God for that. Thank God for that. Hold on. Give me a second here. I forgot to drop this in the chat. Bear with me. But yeah, so the NBA, I don't think they're doing the solid courts anymore because that was atrocious. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was absolutely horrendous. Oh shit. Come on. But like my point is that they're not marketing it as much as they did last year. Last year, if you guys remember, it was like I said, it almost seems like Adam Silver had them at gunpoint trying to promote this. And let's see. Let me get people in the room here. Creep, you're done. I'm uploading it on my page. It's gone up. It's gone up. We are live. Boom. Done. Yeah. So just a lot different. Yeah, the Pacers was unlookable. The Heat The Heat was horrible. The Heat was horrible. If you remember those solid red, there was one team I can't remember. They were particularly bad. It wasn't the Pacers. Pacers was horrible. That solid like mustard yellow, not a good look. It wasn't the Celtics. There was one team. I think it might have been the Heat. I almost want to say it was the Heat scored that everybody was just like, "Yo, this looks like some shit out of 2K." It just looked horrendous. But my point, staying on topic, Adam Silver hasn't put as much money into this as he has previously in last year. So I just want to see how it lands. I just want to see how it lands. The players are going to play. I don't think they're going to try as hard. I don't really think they give a fuck. I think I mean, they won more money. And if you remember, the Lakers won, and there was some people on the 12th and 13th spot, which is now Bronny, who he don't need no fucking money. They win, they won some cash. I think that the prize, as this continues, the prize definitely needs to be a lot more enticing for players. I mean, how much more money can we give them? Like, we're done with that. We're done with them getting more and more money. That's done. They need to have more than a cash incentive. They need to have more like a playoff spot that's guaranteed. Somebody wants to send you a message. Not happening. They need a playoff spot guaranteed, like one of the top six seeds or something like that. But the fact that the NBA is in this position anyway is really where the talking point begins for me. Is that, I mean, they keep doing all these gimmicks. We first, like, Adam Silver has done a lot in his tenure. You think about it. First off, he inherits the league at the height of Curry and LeBron. Like, so that's supposed to drive him for a few years. He's almost like Adam Silver is what Kamala Harris was for the Democrats. Like, just a horrible campaign. Granted, I mean, I guess that's a little bit different, horrible comparison, but you see what I'm saying? Like, he's fucking up a good thing. He fucked up a good thing. He literally inherited the league, I believe, in 2016, 2017, at the height of LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Warriors, Cavs. They run that for 3 or 4 straight years. We get that finals literally 4 straight years. They beat that into the ground. And then stars keep moving everywhere. And granted, they tried the Kawhi thing. That didn't work. He won a championship and then left the next year. And then we tried to get, who was it next after Kawhi? They tried Kawhi. Then it was like Zion. After Zion, they tried Ja Morant. Then they tried Tatum and Luka. Then Jokic, but Jokic keeps winning everything. I mean, he's on pace to win his fourth MVP in 5 years. I mean, Jokic is literally averaging 30-something points, 13 rebounds, and like 12 assists right now. I mean, it's a joke. And he's on pace of winning another MVP at this rate, obviously, clearly cut. I do think Tatum has played the best this year. I mean, Jokic just put it up gaudy stats, but there was games that he's lost in the beginning of the season, and the Nuggets were so-so. I think Tatum did come out, and he really set the tone the first few games. Tatum was scoring. I mean, and they were blowing teams out, and he was sitting out in the second, like the fourth quarter and stuff. So I think Tatum is like the leading scorer in the league right now. But I think Jokic definitely has a one-up on him right now. But my point is that the league has tried player after player. Now they're trying this whole Wemby. Wemby's trying to be marketable with this whole alien trademark thing. He's put up some good numbers. He's played decently here and there. He played horrible against Chet Holmgren like last week. The Thunder's in a good position. They got some young talent over there. But just, again, the superstar acquisition in the NBA, not so much, man. It's not carrying. And that's what's alarming, man. The ratings are down. Obviously, we got news a few weeks ago that the ratings were down. But it's no secret to me. I mean, it's no secret. The NBA hasn't made a dent into any. And granted, this is an election year, and they did start right at the height of the election cycle. So there's some credence to that. Same with even the NFL. I mean, ratings all down. Last week, if you were in this space of entertainment, there wasn't a lot of attention being brought to your channel unless you were actually into politics or something of that sort. But I'm sure for the NBA, the NFL, they've seen a dip into the ratings. Although there was when Trump got the assassination attempt happened that first time, or the second time when he tried that shit on Football Sunday, it did not make a dent in Football Sunday. Everybody just kept going on like nothing happened. So the NFL has a strong shield. NBA, not so much. But let's see what happens with this NBA Cup. Let's see how they're able to really promote this year, and if it's able to carry through, and if it really means anything. No one is like walking around talking about the Lakers being the NBA Cup champion. Like, it's not a souvenir. It's not a badge of honor. There's nothing much from it. I mean, I think it's almost a forgotten thing. I don't even think people really realize that they won last year. A lot of people, Shane in the comment, talk about, wow, he forgot about it. I mean, everybody kind of forgot about it. It's not really a thing. So LeBron, have fun with your little in-season tournament title and then not barely making the playoffs. But the NBA is in a peculiar situation. This NBA Cup, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see if he retrieves from this NBA Cup eventually, because I don't think it's really working. I don't think it's working. He's trying to get competition up. He's trying to entice players to play, which I understand. But like, I covered Machiavelli, not Tupac, but the Prince. And one of the things that one of his philosophies, which we could talk about that, because I believe all these modern day philosophers, especially these European philosophers, stole from other people. But it is to be better to be feared than it is to be loved. That's a philosophy, man. To be feared or to be loved. If you had to choose one, which would you be? And there's something to be said to be feared, and that's just the bottom line. You think of Xi Jinping in China. You think of some of the great leaders of all time. You know, they ruled with an iron fist. And when you're trying to acquiesce to everybody and please everybody, it never works. It never works. And what we know about Adam Silver is he is a player's commissioner. The players love him all because he just keeps giving and giving, and as they ask, he gives and gives. And for me, as a black man to sit on my platform or any platform, and out of one side of my mouth want them to get what they're rightfully deserve and what they're rightfully owed, but on the other hand, I do look at it from a business aspect and understand that they are ruining the NBA product. And if you really want to, like, if you really want to have some foresight into the conversation, what good is it for LeBron to get his billion and to be the liaison that he has been for basketball? He's changed the whole sport of basketball. Players have gotten their money. It's no longer, the whole rule of you stay miserable up in Minnesota for 15 years trying to win a title. You're in the cold. You're freezing your ass off. You really don't like it. But you do it just because that's the way it was done in the past. It's no more of that. If you're not happy, if you're genuinely not happy there, you go to the front office and you work something out and you get up out of there. So I understand it from that social aspect. However, if we're ruining the whole shield of basketball, if we're ruining the whole sport, like the 20, 30, 40, 50 people coming after you, they're not about to get the bag. Again, we talked about it on a few episodes ago. You guys got to remember when I had guests here, we talked about baseball and the situation with baseball, and that in the mid 2000s, around 2010, that little period, they were in some tough fucking shit. Baseball was in some tough fucking shit. And it took Mike Trout and some of those players to kind of dig the MLB out of it, because if you remember previously, everybody's known that if you were in baseball, you was up dog shit. You got the most money. The NBA is in the same situation. They 1x, 2x sometimes some of these football players. But again, basketball is in the same position that baseball was in 2010. Where all the players are making all the money, but they're making it off the back of the players, the Yankees in the early 2000s. Those kind of dynasties that was reigning, that allure. You make your money off of the backs of the previous generation. So, who's to say in 5 years, like when they negotiate a new TV deal with the NBA and stuff like that, who's to say what these contracts actually look like? Because if I'm a ad sponsor, if I'm a TV exec, and we're looking at the numbers, and these players are sitting out mad TV games. They're sitting out mad TV games. They're just sitting out left and right. We had to put a stipulation in last year that in order for you to make an All NBA team or even be considered for one of the awards, you got to play 65 games or so. It's just pathetic. I just got notification and B went to the locker room. he better hope that that's not true. I tell you what, Embiid better hope that that's not true. What did he go to the locker room for? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know what Embiid went to the locker room for. So you already was hurt at the beginning of the year. Then you put your hands on a beat reporter, and then now you're injured again, dude. I tell you what, I was joking. I was at dinner. I'm gonna sound so fucking crazy, but I was at dinner with the homies, and we was talking, and we was talking about Dak and Jerry Jones, and I'm like, man, I've heard crazy stories, in this sports entertainment world. You got to think about it like these. It's a business at the top of the top. At the end of the day, it's a business. In fact, the Cowboys, I think that he's been trolling people for damn near going on 30 years. I don't think that man really wants to win the Super Bowl. I mean, he wants to win a Super Bowl, but I think that he's obviously about the business of the Cowboys more than he is about winning a Super Bowl. It's clear cut. And he's able to sell ads. He's able to sell ad revenue. He's able to get placements for the Cowboys year in and year out. They're still in the mainstream. They're still the number one talked about team. Engagement farming, controversy, anything you name it, Jerry Jones does with the Cowboys. They're still the most valuable franchise. The Cowboys are definitely cursed. Drying up. But the point being is that it's a business at the end of the day, and they invest into these players. It's really a whole sick thing if you really kind of think about it. But I was saying that don't be shocked. Dak Prescott fake tore his hamstring, his injury I've never fucking heard. Tore the meat off his hamstring, which sounds painful. And this comes after he's literally spotted on camera saying that the Cowboys fucking suck. And he just got a deal, which is quite interesting. And I was just saying, don't be shocked if Dak is being followed around for a few years. Because, do you think Jerry Jones takes lightly that Dak just ran off with, what was it, 60? What was 65 million? What Dak ran off with? How much Dak get paid? I don't think that these owners and stuff take that very lightly. So, Embiid, you better just hope that you just went to the locker room to blow your nose or something. Because if you're hurt again, bro, I swear to God, I will use my platform to slander you, dude. And there's just no way. There's just no reason that you go from being actually my favorite player. If you look back maybe 6-7 years ago, Embiid was actually my favorite player, to being literally a laughing stock, dog. And granted, I get it, you're a big man and stuff like that. But like Shaq said, man, you got to find a way in between. I don't know what the fucking Embiid is doing. I don't know what the fucking Embiid is doing. But the NBA is just all fucked up right now. It hasn't made a dent into pop culture yet. LeBron is on his last fucking leg. Curry's on his last tour run. KD, don't even get me started on KD. I'll leave that for Shane. KD's team is 9-2. Nobody gives a fuck. He's the least eventful superstar I can remember. Outside of Kawhi Leonard. KD does everything in his power to be the least eventful. He doesn't even move the needle to me. He'll go up and, they talk about his efficiency and all this and stuff. He'll go up and drop 30 points on 60% shooting, but doesn't move a needle. He just doesn't move the needle to me. And in order for me, in order for you to be great and really be that next level, you got to be able, there's an art in being able to lead the troops, man. In football, you got to lead 50 people. In basketball, you got to lead 13, 12 guys, 12 other guys. There's an art in being able to do that. KD just does not have that. He has the skill. He'll go out there and give you 30, but he's really a number. He would be the greatest number 2 ever. He's not really an alpha to me. It's just what it was. I didn't think he was alpha when he played with Westbrook. I didn't think he was alpha when he played with Curry. I didn't think he was alpha even when he played with the Brooklyn Nets. He just sucked at leading. He just sucks at lead. He sucks at galvanizing the troops and getting able to get 12 other men to follow behind him. And there's an art in doing that. So that's really my take in basketball. Clay does return tonight against Golden State. Draymond fake said he was going to run through his chest. A key out of Kobe's book. Save it for David. I couldn't care less. I don't even care about. I'm not even feeling. You know how back in the day, there would be that. A player leaves his old team that he won championships with, and it's the rematch, and it's like prime time. They're not even pulling on my heartstrings like that. I don't even care. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just getting older. I really just think overall the NBA just as a product is just not a good product, bro. I'll be looking into the crowds empty. I just watch the games. It don't feel right. It don't feel right at all. But yeah, drop a chat below and let me know how y'all feel about the NBA, man. But moving on to bigger fucking topics. That NBA Cup is horrendous. We also got let me see, the Grammy list came out. Anybody care about the Grammy list, the Grammy nomination? No, we don't care about the Grammy nominations. We don't care. Looks like, yep, Joe went to the locker room. That's horrible. Oh, they got Beyonce all over this list. Let me really see. Let me see. Um, the big thing that's going on with the Grammys is Mr. Kendrick Lamar, which I think the Grammys is February 2nd, and then the Super Bowl is February 9th. So the thing that I want to cover here is that it's going to be really, really interesting to see. Well, we don't know if Kendrick is performing. He is nominated for a lot of Grammys with his smash single, "Not Like Us." Will be the first diss record to really win a Grammy. It's going to be kind of crazy. Um, and then obviously, like that, he's nominated for a variety. He's all in the rap categories. He's going to sweep the rap categories like he usually does. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. But the conversation I'm thinking about is the fact that if he performs, I'm really curious to see if Kendrick Lamar performs. That's going to be interesting to me because if he's able to pull off back-to-back performances like that, that's going to be pretty interesting. And I would like to see if he's able to um, keep that bar up, and how he's going to be able to execute it. I believe he's going to give. Look, Kendrick Lamar is going to tear the Super Bowl up. I think that really goes without saying. If you know, you know. I mean, he's given some of the greatest live performances on late night shows and the Grammys and BET Awards that we've seen in our generation. So, I mean, even the Super Bowl performance he did back in 2021, I want to say, or two, I think it was 2022. He tore that down in the little bit that he got. He tore it down. So Kendrick Lamar is going to put on a grandiose performance, but I'm just curious about the Grammys if he's going to perform at the Grammys. I think in order for him to perform at the Grammys, they are going to have to convince him that he is going to win these awards. I do think he's going to win these awards. I think, Drake, that you are really a coward. You continue to be a coward. I know you haven't been submitted to the Grammys since 2021, but if someone really wants to have a true discussion, what that stems from because he was submitting from the Grammys. Him, J. Cole, everybody was submitting to the Grammys, and Kendrick continuously swept the Grammys. That's realistically what happened. I watched it in real time. They got salty about it. They stopped submitting to the Grammys. That's what happened. Now, rightfully so. I don't think that there was a time that they deserved any of the awards. And in fact, I think that the times in between where Kendrick may not have dropped and they dropped. I mean, now J. Cole does. I think he ended up getting a Grammy with the 21 Savage record a lot. I do believe that was his first Grammy. I don't think he got a Grammy outside of that. Y'all can fact check me on that. But J. Cole definitely deserves more Grammy, but you're just facing stiff competition. You got the Travis Scotts out there. You got the Kanye West, Jay-Z done dropped. Yep, that was his first and only. There's just cuts. There's been tough competition in that field. You're dealing with Drake. I mean, as far as mainstream acts, when you're talking about bodies of work and winning best rap performance, and there's so many songs that are submitted, it's a tough thing to do. But I don't like how we've tried to now mitigate the fact that Kendrick usually dominates, and rightfully so. Now, you can make a case that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I think that is a great body of work. I definitely think it deserved all the awards it won, but it wasn't received as well as his other projects. I don't think you can make a case outside of that. All his other projects deserve to win everything that they won. But it'd be interesting to see. Now, speaking on the same thing. Well, Beyonce leads with 11 nods, so she actually ties Michael Jackson and Kendrick Lamar for the most Grammy nominations of all time in one night. Beyonce is going to clean up if she's there. Taylor Swift, man, we're going to have a talk about her one day. I promise, man. I really can't believe it. I don't care what y'all say in this chat. I don't care what anybody says. She is literally the poster child or the poster girl for mediocrity. She literally is. She's just mediocre. She's just mediocre across the board. She's mediocre. She's a mediocre bitch. She's just mediocre. And I guess, like, if you're just mediocre, like, kind of like Tim Duncan. I mean, Tim Duncan was great in some senses, but she's more like Antonio McDyess or like Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, no, those are horrible comparisons. But she's just mediocre. I mean, she's seriously mediocre. But she's so marketable because she's so mediocre. That's the thing. She does, and they try to act like she's some big mob boss behind the scenes, and she did do that big mob boss shit when she recorded and re-released all her projects after she got out of her deal. Salute to Taylor Swift for that. But her music is mediocre. Her looks are mediocre. Her placements are mediocre. Her pop culture appeal to me is mediocre. I don't think she really be moving the needle like that. I think it's just all numbers. I mean, I know she does have a big fan base and stuff like that, but I don't think her fan base really is the fan base that moves the needle. I mean, you had some people out there, you had some pop stars out there that really, really, really actually moves pop culture. Taylor Swift don't move pop culture to me like that. I don't know. Granted, I'm an older man. I'm in my late 20s and stuff. So it's really not my demographic. I don't hang around high school people to really know, but I don't see, and it's a different space and time as far as the industry where, like, if you're not in tune with, back in the day, we were more programmed, and like if somebody was moving the needle, you was forced to know that they was moving the needle. Today, it's like, somebody could be fake moving the needle or moving the needle, and if it's not your demographic, if it's not your up your alley, you could stay in your own algorithm, your own world, and you wouldn't know that they're moving the needle. So I've considered all those things. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the bitch is mediocre. But in the conversation of music, I want to switch gears here. We did have some releases since the last time that I dropped and talked. Being that we didn't talk about Chromacopia with Tyler the Creator. Great body of work. I still have to do my digging into. I haven't heard it since the first week it released. I've heard songs outside of it, but I haven't heard it all the way through. I went on record early before I start seeing it in the comments and hip hop spaces and stuff that I felt like, yeah, Chromacopia. I felt like it was his Mr. Morale. Now, granted, I kind of already got that inkling because if you remember back when Kendrick dropped Mr. Morale, there was not a rapper out there that kind of went to bat for Mr. Morale harder than Tyler. In fact, it put Tyler out of the woodworks. I remember Tyler going on a media blitz where he was being interviewed, and I seen a different Tyler. I seen a Tyler that said that he didn't say this, but indirectly he said this, that Mr. Morale helped him understand, like, we all know about the vulnerability in Mr. Morale, but Tyler the Creator was saying that it was okay to be a nerd. It was okay to be a nerd again and to really appreciate the arts and the fine arts of something. And I think that Mr. Morale helped him understand that. And I think that that's why we get Chromacopia. Now, some of the things in Chromacopia that were talked about, yep, when he was checking that white boy in. Again, gloves is off right now in hip hop. DJ Head said, all the West Coast artists, it's y'all's chance to take a shot. And at some point, we also got to have a discussion about why. I've always said, I don't know why Tyler and Earl and them aren't looked at as West Coast artists. I just don't know why. I mean, everybody thinks that this West Coast artist, you got to have this whole sound, this whole G-funk sound or some different LA Bay Area sound. Tyler and them come from a different angle and stuff. So they just aren't, when you are getting into the conversation about LA artists and West Coast artists and stuff like that, they're never brought up. And they really had a big, bruh. Our Future, Ocean Wolfgang, they had a big movement when we was young. They had a big fucking movement. I mean, you had Lorder Squad, you had the shows that they were doing, you had the skits that they were doing, you had the music that they were all putting out at the time. But they had just never been able to be classified under LA or West Coast artists for some reason. But that conversation is actually changing on Tyler. Talk about that pop Tyler got when the crowd saw him. Exactly. And that's when I think that the conversation started to change a little bit at the pop out. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to DJ Mustard. When they did the Tyler set, man, that arena erupted. That arena actually erupted. I mean, it was louder when Tyler came out. I mean, I'm about to say it. When Tyler came out, it was louder than when Dr. Dre came out. I'm just saying. I mean, the arena erupted when Tyler came out. He came out with a burst of energy. He came out doing his silly boy dance that I fucking love. And he came out to my fucking record with Young Boy. Y'all know the record. I'm blanking on the record, but I love that record. Off of Call Me If You Get Lost. But yeah, Tyler should be looked at. The conversation has changed on Tyler a little bit here lately. I've been seeing on the hip hop spaces and stuff. I'm talking about hip hop journalists and hip hop media members talking about, is Tyler a part of the Big Three? No, Tyler. I mean, my answer to that is no. Tyler is not a part of the Big Three. He's not in the Big Three discussion because the Big Three was coined for those three guys. Those three guys have spearheaded the new generation. It just is what it is. Now, can you swap Tyler out and classify him better at certain areas than certain people in the Big Three? Yes, but the Big Three is cemented as the Big Three. That's just the name of the Big Three. I kind of hate it. I hate the coin phrase of the Big Three. They've been running with that for the last. It really started around 2019 or so. Well, Drake actually gave an interview with Elliott Wilson and B. Dot. I think in 2019 or 2020. I want to say 2019. Yeah, what's your name, girlfriend? Yeah. Yeah, Drake gave that interview to Elliott Wilson and B. Dot on Rap Radar, and he kind of talked about the Big Three. He called it the three-headed monster, or they called it the three-headed monster: Kenny, Cole, and Drake. And then ever since then, everybody's been running with this whole Big Three talk. And then actually, really, a few years later, if you guys remember, online, it became a big talk about rap Mount Rushmore for this generation. And we always had the Big Three: Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. And then the fourth spot was argued between Future, Kanye, and Nicki Minaj ad nauseum. I mean, people kept swapping one of those four faces. How do y'all feel about Nicki being the fourth member in that? I mean, this is a whole kind of steering away from what I wanted to talk about, but I mean, Nicki could make a case. Future to me has to have that spot. In fact, Future could be argued, if we were to take somebody out of the Big Three, Future could be argued to be placed in that spot. I mean, Future's impact and body of work and consistency during this tenure. Future's been out since 2012. He's been running it. He's been hot since 2012. So damn near we're on a 12-year run for Future. So you could definitely make a heavy case for Future being at least the fourth member on that Mount Rushmore. Kanye, yeah, because now Kanye really, the argument with Kanye is that he's not technically a part of this generation. He's the previous generation. He would be talked about with Wayne and 50 maybe, and some other people, T.I., but he's not really a part of this generation per se. However, he has had the bodies of work post 2010 to even make an argument. I mean, you think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Watch the Throne, The Life of Pablo, the list goes on and on, yada, 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 yada. So you could make a case that Kanye's second half of his career is eligible to be in that Mount Rushmore. And then you got Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has been out since 2010. She's ran the female lane since 2010. You've had your inserts of the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions. Now you got Sexy Red and Glorilla, but none of them have really peaked. Cardi peaked close to Nicki, but she wasn't putting out the material Nicki was putting out, and she didn't have the ability that Nicki had. So she never, to me, garnered any of that responsibility or deserved any of that, the Nicki comparison. I mean, she's more like a industry thing. And I mean, Cardi's really, somebody's not really, the fact that no one's pressing down on Cardi like they should be, just goes to tell you that she's not Nicki Minaj, or she's not even in that conversation, that realm of possibility, because that we would be begging for the album and she would actually be in trouble. We're going on 6 years without a Cardi B album. Cardi is afraid to drop. Exactly. And again, she's going to get cold feet. She's not close to Nikki. She's not even, when you just go from prime for prime and you look at the bodies, you look at the material Nikki was giving you, and then the material Cardi. Cardi was just giving you the big hook. I mean, Cardi was just giving you the big blows. She had the big records, but it's the in between stuff that Nikki was doing too. Jumping on Monster, jumping on a remix after remix, verse after verse, just in between, giving people features in between. She was just nonstop on people's neck. Cardi never was doing that. She every 3 or 4 months, they would pump in a song, and then here's Cardi and Meg, here's Cardi and Quavo. Yeah, she never leveled up, and she just can't rap with Nicki. Her writers can't rap with Nicki. Niggas just can't rap with Nicki. We've seen Nicki get up with some dudes, and that's just straight up. We've seen Nicki get. In fact, in Motorsport, where their beef stemmed from, if y'all go back and listen to Motorsport, Nicki, during the whole there's a whole story behind Motorsport where Nicki sends in a verse, the verse is killer. Quavo and them know Cardi's on the song, and Cardi didn't come that hard, so they tell Nicki to rewrite her verse for some old bullshit reason. Nicki really gets wind of that, but Nicki sends another verse back, because this is what happened with Monster. They say you should not let Nicki rewrite a verse because she gets mad and she bodies. But in Motorsport, it was some whole Cardi B shit. She sends back another verse, and she disses Cardi on the end of the verse on the song. Then so Nicki and Cardi's both on that song, and Nicki slid. She cleaned up Quavo. She cleaned up Cardi quite easily. So, anyways, case could be made for Nicki in the fourth spot. But again, if you're asking me, just objectively, what my eyes and ears have told me, it's been Future, and it's by a long shot. Future by a long shot should be on that fourth spot. But yeah, Chromacopia, great body of work. Tyler is covering a lot of stuff. There's a lot of digging in there. There's some few. Let me pull up the track list here with Chromacopia. Bear with me, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 15, 14 songs on Chromacopia. I did see that Noid, I think Noid was like Tyler's like first top 10 hit. Maybe Earthquake was in there. Whoa, that's crazy news, Shane. Yeah, that's crazy news. But I love I Killed You. Darling is hard. Darling I. Noid is hard. We were supposed to get Frank Ocean on. Woj Bomb for sure. We were supposed to get Frank on Judge Judy. I heard the stems. I heard his vote. I heard his verse. That was Sticky. I like it. I thought Wayne was getting ready to come on Sticky and Slide. I thought Wayne was going to come on Sticky and Slide, and then it just stopped and then switched. I do agree. I don't hate it, but I feel like Tyler did too much on Sticky. Too much changing of the beats. Too much. There's too much there for me on Sticky. Take Your Mask Off is obviously hard. I think that was the song that. Oh man, there's a lot on Take Your Mask Off, and then I Hope You Find Your Way Home. Balloon, I felt like Doechii. It sounds like the only song out of place. Yeah, Sticky. I agree. It almost seems like a placement song. It almost seems like it was forced on there because he wanted. If you guys remember, a few months ago, we seen that picture of Sexy Red and Tyler, the creator, backstage somewhere, and Tyler was like doing his gay boy pose and like had his ass out, and Sexy was like twerk. She was bent over, and it was a cute little picture. But I feel like they just they hit it off, and he was just like, oh, let's do a record. And she was like, yeah, I'm a big fan. She said that she was a big fan of Tyler. She loved fucking Tyler, and she wanted to do a record with Tyler. So I feel like they made that happen, and he pieced together other people's verses, Wayne and stuff like that. I definitely don't feel like they was all in the studio when they made Sticky. There was a lot of beat switches and stuff like that. So, but outside of Sticky, and even Sticky is not really that horrible of a record. It's just I could do without. But there's a lot here, man. Like I said, I got to go back and really dig into it. But I mean, we're covering things like, we're approaching topics where a lot of people haven't really got to. He's a 30-something-year-old hip hop artist, and I mean, he's talking about stuff that I think we can all feel. I mean, he's talking about watching some of his friends as they're growing and having kids and stuff like that, kind of kind of regretting some of the decisions he made, and because we're all at that crossroads. Well, some of us that still don't have kids and still haven't settled down, we're at this crossroads in our life where it's like, shit or get off the pot time. And he's kind of uncovering some of that, unpacking some of those feelings of the way in which he decided to go, because he still hasn't really eloped or anything like that. So he's kind of talking about some regrets that he may have had there. We're talking about abortions with Hey Jane, a really really deep track that has some serious implications. We're talking about on Take Your Mask Off. I mean, there's three different verses that he's talking about three different things, but obviously, just covering that mask that just, we use to cover our real self. And I mean, he's talking about a wide range of things from, people, marrying women and still sleeping with men, and starting up clothing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. It's actually, I would say, yeah, I Hope You Find Your Way Home. Great, great song. I love Noid because I like uh, musically. I like Noid. I like that direction. I like those sonics. Yeah, you don't get Chromacopia without Mr. Morale. You don't get Mr. Morale without 444. To me, that's the lineage. I mean, and then shout out to Nas. If I can give a shout out to Nas, you don't get, I mean, because this whole grown man record stuff kind of, is coined with Jay-Z, but Nas really did that in Life's Good. I have to give Nas credit where it's due. Nas in 2012 came out with Life's Good, which was a really, really good album. I love the song with him and Amy Winehouse on there. There's a lot of stuff on there, but Nas kind of switched gears with Life is Good there, and I think he deserves rightful credit if I do say so myself. But 444 took it to another level as far as mainstream appeal, and then we get Mr. Morale from that, and then you get Chromacopia. It's going to be really really interesting to see other artists that kind of take this avenue. Shout out to Earl Sweatshirt. I know you're on the horizon. You're actually Earl's kind of switching gears on what he's trying to do. He's kind of given us his adult albums recently with Sick and uh, some rap songs and shit like that. For Your Eyes Only too. That's a good one. Yeah, For Your Eyes Only too. Thanks for not letting me forget that. Yeah, Cole already gave y'all his mature body of work with For Your Eyes Only. I want Cole on some bullshit on his next project, but that's a topic for another day. That's a topic for another day, because I did want to talk about this app. So, Shane, you have not heard this app, so please tomorrow spend your day at the gym listening to this app. So, guys, I almost want to do a whole separate video. This Absol project is very, very, very refreshing, man. It's very, very good to hear Absol like this. He's had, I mean, his last project was really, really good. That dropped actually, was that last year? Damn, was that only last year? I feel like it was long. I feel like it was 2 years ago. I feel like it was 2022. Have you never heard "Sticky" by J. Cole? That's some bullshit he gave you. Yeah, that song is horrible. Um, the Absol record, really, really good. Shout out to Doe um, one of his homies that passed away. He's been rapping about Doe since I can remember. The Book of Soul, which is one of his most classic records. He's talking about Dolberger and Lori Joe. Rest in peace to Lori Joe as well, which was his girl that ended up jumping off of. I can't remember how many stories it was, but she jumped off a couple high rise building in Vegas and jumped to her death. She was actually she was signed to Top Dog, and she's on some of the records, early records back when TDE's first inception, when they were breaking through. She's on a lot of those records and stuff. Lori Joe, which was Absol's girl. But we have, man, Absol is rapping good, man. And Vince Staples, man. Vince Staples, another LA artist that doesn't get the just due that he deserved. Vince Staples slid again, man. Vince Staples to me is on a epic run, man. His album this year was great. Was great. In fact, quiet as kept. LA has been, we know we get the pop-up show, we get Kendrick. We know what we get from LA there. But Schoolboy Q started the year off strong with Blue Lips. Then we got Absol again, but then in between that we had Vince Staples that dropped. We had DJ Mustard that kind of came and went. We got Jason Martin that's released. There's some shit out there. Album great, show great, looks great. Mahadia, let me know what you're talking about. But I do want to say Vince Staples. Oh yeah, she's talking about Vince Staples. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I ain't talking about the looks great part, even though that's my twin. But yeah, the album was great. I ain't gonna lie, the album was great, man. Vince's album, man, is really fucking good. It's really, really good. And then the show is obviously good. And it did get renewed for season 2. I can't wait. And I think I read somewhere that he was going to take it to another level on season 2 as far as like what he's going to be able to do. He was kind of just testing the water. No, Shane, I didn't say that. Before Vince had this whole little second little rerun and stuff, the Vince thing's been going on for me. I didn't say it. I've owned it after denying it they were saying that back in 2013, 2014 and stuff. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah, man, shout out to Vince Staples, bro. But he has a song on the Absol project called California Dreaming. Or California Love or California Dreaming, man. I'm telling you, Doom 2 Boys, man. No, Shane, listen to me. You gotta listen to this song. If you are if you are in a hurry or whatever and you at the gym and you only got 30 minutes, I'm just gonna give you the records off the Absol shit I want you to listen to. Start with the intro track. 9 Mile is some crazy dope ass shit. It's a remake of 8 Mile. He's on this Eminem shit. It starts with the Belly intro. And then he kind of gets into his whole 8 Mile shit and he's like, tearing himself up at the in the second half of the track. Payday's cool, all that's cool, but it's called California Dream. It's Absol, Vince Staples, and Cam Carson, man. Listen, man, we know that Vince is on, when somebody hits a pocket in their career and they just is like, every verse that they putting out is just like, okay, he's still in that bag right now. Yeah, Vince is in a bag. And then Bucko Jr. is kind of like Ab trying to break out into this. He wanted this album to be mainstream, and he said he wanted to turn into a mainstream rapper and sell records and stuff like that. Ab, I just got to keep it a buck. That's my one critique about this album, is that I think that direction for you, it's so low bush for you. You cannot be boxed in like that, and unfortunately, you're just not going to break out into the mainstream. It's just going to be impossible for you. You are one of the great thinkers of our time. In fact, for this generation, I don't think that there's nobody that's been further out there than Absol. Not an artist on this level. No, before him, you got the Lupes of the world and stuff like that. But Black Thoughts of the world. But Absol is in that vein when it comes to being like a thinker. And you hear it on this project. Some of the way that he is able to not just only rhyme, but he puts together these words in such a manner where it really kind of confuses me, to where I'm like, how long do you have to sit with words and meanings of words and different meanings of words for you to be able to make them flip and bend the way he does? Because it's not when my guys from TDE, especially Absol, I want to highlight specifically, the talent that they have is that they don't just rap like Eminem, to where it's like a whole bunch of dope words and shit like that with no meaning. No, their shit, when you really like hear what they say, it's a cause to pause, because it has like a whole fucking ocean's worth of depth. Just in a quick little flip of a bar that they do. It has a whole ocean. Like, you can interpret it so many different ways. It's really, really fucking dope. So there's a lot of that going on. But let me finish giving you the tracks. Like I said, California Dream, Bucko Jr. Obviously, I know Shane's gonna tap into I, Myself, and Me with Doechii. Shout out to Doechii. Doechii is on fire. Mahadi, I know you fuck with Doechii. Shane, I know you fuck with Doechii. Shout out to fucking Doechii. We're so glad that Doechii is breaking through that next level. She's getting a lot of slack, matter of fact, for getting Grammy nominations, and rightfully so, off of a mixtape. Doechie's really blown up off of a mixtape. Alligator Bites Never Heal. Sorry, was a dope ass project, man, and she's a dope ass rapper. People are saying she's fake genius, she's fake Kendrick Lamar, she's fake artsy, but like y'all don't understand. Y'all just don't understand, man. I ain't gotta say it. Yeah, I've been watching all her performances. I've been watching all her performances. She's dope, man. Doechii is dope as fuck. She's just a raw ass, dope ass artist. And we know, TDE is she's in good hands with TDE because they do artist development. I'm telling y'all, her first body of work is going to be big, and it's going to be like that because she's already had placements where I remember last year she was performing on the Grammys or whatever. She was performing with like Katy Perry and shit. Like, and then I mean, because we know her record. What was her record, Mahadia, with her and SZA? That popped like 2 years ago. She's had a few records that outside of this album, SZA and Doechii. Or Persuasive. Persuasive was hard. Persuasive was a good single with her and SZA. And yeah, I know you did. But I mean, you actually heard Doechii before, Shane. You just didn't know it was Doechii. You heard Doechii's been on Mad TDE, not Mad TDE projects, but this whole little second half of she was on Isaiah Rashad's project. You know, Doechii was on and I know you fucked with House is Burning. I think you did. Did you fuck with House is Burning? Doechii was on this is Doechii. Yeah, Doechii's on there. Yeah. I've been watching Doechii since they signed her and stuff like that. I remember when she did the freestyle. I remember her interview up at Breakfast Club, like during the pandemic, when she talked about being from Florida and all this and all that. But yeah, shout out to Doechii. Shout out to Doechii. Another great body of work, and not technically from the West, but it's a West Coast release. I mean, it's really a Florida release. I mean, especially the concept and the whole idea with the alligators and shit like that. But I'm just saying they're grooming her out West. So shout out to the West. Absol, Soul Burger. Please, y'all go tap into Absol Soul Burger. I think it's really, really good. Jid and Absol going back and forth on Crazier. Chef's fucking kiss. Man, we need more of that. We need more of that, man. They was really dueling on that. I do think, call me biased, I do think Ab got the better of them. And then the last song I want to mention is Righteous Man. It's the outro to the album, Another Chef's Kiss. Another Chef's Kiss. Shout out to Terrence Martin. He looped the Mortal Man sample in there. Just talks as Jid, mad as fuck at Cole. Yeah, I did hear that. But I heard him come out. We got the news from, who was it? Oh, Wayno. I know Wayno said something about that a month ago or whatever, saying he talked to some of the Dreamville homies after the whole situation with J. Cole. And, there was some smoke there. Some of them was mad. We knew when we heard that report when it first happened. We thought about Jid first. When Cole first did that, I was just like, and I knew it was Jid that was going to be upset because Jid, we've heard in interviews and stuff, Jid and Reason was tied together between those two camps. And Jid has said on multiple occasions that he wanted to get up with niggas in TDE. So I already knew that Jid knowing the way a person like Jid thinks, he thought that was going to be, yeah, exactly. Jid thought that was going to be an opening. If Cole and Kendrick do what they were supposed to do, that would have kind of gave him the opening to be able to kind of get involved and spar, like friendly fade with him and Soul, friendly fade with him and Q, or it would have been him and Reason or whatever. Jid really wants to go at Kendrick. He really wants to go at Kendrick. He a fan. Jid a fan for real. He really a fan. He a whole K-Dot fan out here. He a stan. He a K-Dot stan. But hey Jid, if you're listening, Absol got the better of you. Granted, it's his song. He could go longer. Yada yada yada. And you slid and you came up. I like the hook. Crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. But you did. Let me give you some advice, Jid. You starting to get too Big Sean for me. Not just with the fast rapping shit, but the flipping of the Big Sean used to be like, bounce back like 2-3, like 3-2, like 4-5, 5-4, like the whole that jittery shit. But it's also I'll be listening to what Jid be saying, and he be doing a lot of just like bouncing back and forth with ideas. He don't be like really taking it further until he's done with a whole little sentence. Like if you listen to Absol's verse, he's just again forward. It's just like further and further explaining the idiom of crazier, the idea of crazier. He's just going further and further. Jid to just say a whole bunch of shit that rhymes, but it makes sense. It goes along with it. But Absol is kind of telling you concepts of why the fuck he's crazy. And oh man, he's saying some crazy shit in there, man. They thought that they was the Titanic, but on the glacier. This shit is get crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. Shout out to Solo, man. Shout out to Solo. This is a good body of work. Shout out to Q. Shout out to all them boys at TDE, man. Quiet as kept again. TDE's been running shit, y'all. Let's run it. We got the houses burning in 2021. Then we get Kendrick in 2022. That's still on TDE. We get in 2022. We get Kendrick, SZA, and Soul, and then we get 2020, and then we get SZA all 2023 on feature. She's running all 2023. She's #1 album all year long. SOS is smashing all the records, right? Mr. Morale just did what it did. Then we get 2024 happens. Then we get hints, the big rap beef. We get another few records from SZA. Saturn was a great release this year for SZA. And then we get Schoolboy Q at the top of the year. Like I said, we get the beef, we get the pop out, we get all that stuff that comes from that. And then we get Absol again. And then we get Doechii. We also get Doechii in between. So, we talking about runs and stuff like that. Again, quiet as kept. But when we look back on this time period and we get these vinyls and shit, and everybody getting their vinyls, and then you go year from year, you're gonna be like, TDE had some fucking heat. You see SOS. You see SOS. So I'm just saying, shout out to them boys out at TDE. Always my guys. And we should be getting a compilation from them soon. Very, very soon. But yeah, that's briefly it on the music side. I mean, there's some Young Thug news that I'm gonna have to cover next time. Some Young Thug, Future, and all these people linking up. Drake spending money on Young Thug. What's new? I think it's funny. I seen this little tweet with Joe Budden when Joe Budden was dissing Drake on Wake back in like 2016 or whatever. He said you couldn't even wait 1 second till you hopped on Gucci's dick. Once Gucci got out of jail, you hopped on Gucci's dick, and then here goes Drake doing it again. Young Thug gets out, whatever. Drake flies to him, and I guess it's reported that he spends $1 million or gives Young Thug $1 million. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. I don't even know. Seriously, I don't even know why Drake is doing some of the shit he does, because it's just so on cue and so on point to what they're saying that you do. So I don't know why he's doing this. It's quite embarrassing. Why is she posting that? Where's my pictures, dog? But yeah, I'm already an hour in. Yeah, it looks horrible, Drake. It looks horrible. It definitely looks horrible. You teaming up with trying to get with the whole future look. It just don't look good, bro. You've bricked all year long. You've given us 100 gigs. You've given us literally 18 songs this summer, and that whole post about with you and Gordo, talking about, the picture that Drake posted of him with the sword, and then all the people on the other side, the army on the other side. He was a one-man army, and it said, good vibes, summer's up next, alluding to the fact that he was about to run the summer. No, brother, no, nothing has stuck. Nothing has stuck. In fact, you've dropped a lot of duds, and you're lucky that we live in a society where people don't hold people accountable and put it on, pin the tail on the fucking donkey, because you've given us bad fucking records. Hey There, Delilah, and I mean countless, the Sabrina, the countless bad records. I did like No Face. I personally like No Face. But I know you dropped it last week along with the video, and it hasn't moved one fucking needle. And now you got, oh man, y'all got me down this crazy rabbit hole. I'm gonna get to Drake. Not today. I'm gonna get to him. I wanted to briefly, before I get off of here, Is there anything anybody in the chat want to drop that y'all want me to cover real quick before I get into some boring ass shit? Because I wanted to talk about Mr. Donald J. Trump now choosing his fucking cabinet. Oh please, oh fucking please. Well, shit, ain't nobody dropping no chat. Let me see here. Let me get on this computer. Donald Trump is choosing his cabinet, and it ain't. He's doing the whole bait and switch. Donald's doing the whole bait and switch. And Shane, don't get on here saying, haha, that's what y'all get, because I don't care. Mr. 47. Mr. 47. Let me tell you something. Dude. Now, granted, if you stay away from Mike Pompeo, you are right there. The RFK thing, everybody was excited about. Elon with the Doge thing, the Department of Government Efficiency. That's cool. Again, RFK with the Make America Healthy Again. That's cool. Now he's yet to announce those people are part of his cabinet. He has announced his defense secretary, the UN pick. He made his campaign manager the. Let me see here. Let me pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up for everybody. Secretary of State, he's announced. Border czar. I really wanted to talk about the border czar. It's going to have to be a whole nother episode, man. The border czar. Anybody out here watching, go watch Tom Homan's yesterday, his congressional speech where he got, he was being questioned by AOC, who AOC she's fine. She's probably the best looking person in politics, but Shane, you would like AOC. She got checked. And I don't want to root for this guy because he just is a racist son of a bitch. I just know he is. But just checks and balance, just straight up. She got checked. They all got checked. Essentially, they're questioning him on, the border crisis. Yeah, definitely go see AOC. You would like AOC for a fact. I mean, she's not like, but like to be in politics and, whatever. The point of the matter is, girl, come on. You need to review Beauty and Black, Tyler Perry's new show. You wouldn't catch me fucking dead watching it. You come on my platform, Mahadia. You sit right next to me, and you could talk about it. You could talk about it for sure. I told you at the dinner that I ain't watched. I can't watch. I can't do it no more, bro. I'm just getting too old. I'm too. Boy, she does not look that bad. Let me fucking see. Let me fucking see. AOC. What? She don't fucking look that bad. She does not look that bad. She looks that bad? You thought you... Bruh, you acting like the pool is so good. Like, okay, who do you want? Hillary? Kamala? Kamala, actually, I've been saying Kamala don't look bad at all. I just don't think Kamala looks bad. Let me see. Oh, no, baby, no. She looks horrible. I've never seen her teeth like that. I think she got her teeth fixed, Shane. I don't remember her having those big gums. I ain't gonna lie. But anyways, the point of the matter is, this man, the border czar, went up there and checked them bad, checked them hard, and said that the illegals are going back over there. He don't give a fuck about them seeking asylum. Yeah, Kamala, especially back in her prime, Kamala's like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. She may be dumb. She may be goofy. She ain't dumb. I shouldn't even put that on her. She's not dumb. She did some dumbass shit. Let's talk about that. No, he sent a bad picture of AOC. She got her teeth worked on, I think. He sent a picture. Nah, nah, she looks better than that for sure. Anyways, Mahadi, you want to talk about Kamala's campaign? Anybody want to talk about her being $20 million in debt? Anybody? Because we can get to the Trump shit, we can get to the Fed case, we can get to the Federal Reserve chairman not wanting to move his spot. We can get to the lobbyists. We can get to Israel donors. We can get to his new chairman. Um, we can get to these warmongers. Anyway, oh my goodness. Anyways, Kamala. Oh my God, no black woman slander over here. She ran a horrible fucking campaign. Objectively, she ran a horrible campaign. Now it's common ground for everybody to say it. Now I check everywhere I look, everybody's talking about. She wrote a check her cackle couldn't cash. Oh, that's funny. And she did. She literally did. $20 million in debt. First off, how y'all get $1 billion? $1 billion? $1 billion? What does that tell y'all? $1 billion. It don't take no $1 billion to run no campaign, especially when you was only in there for 100 days. 100 days, $1 billion. Now, granted, if y'all do remember, they did do some cheating shit where she took some of Biden's donation. She took some of the donor money. She did take some of the campaign cash. She took some of Biden's campaign cash. I'm just saying $1 billion is a lot. Is extremely a lot. And to be 20, she better hope this report comes out false. She better hope. Because you mean to tell me you was going to convince the American people that you was going to help the economy, and you got $1 billion and you end up in 107 days, $20 million in debt because you go to the Call Her Daddy's podcast. Well, you don't go there. You set up the studio somewhere else because you didn't want to travel anywhere. You blew the Joe Rogan interview. You blew it, like I've been saying. And I ain't dealing with nobody saying anything different. You go sit down with that man and you try to help your base. You try to get some of that base. But no, you so worried about not being questioning. Well, guess what? It was a landslide. The 312 to 226. 312 to 226 because you didn't want to sit down with Joe. Okay. You lost the popular vote. You lost the electoral vote. You lost the House. You lost the Senate. You lost everything. You lost every county. I mean, it was a landslide. The minute she saw Trump went up there, she should have been right up there. She should have went before Trump. But yeah, definitely. She should have went. That was the problem with her campaign. And again, it's low hanging fruit. It's swinging at a pinata that's already cracked, and it's pointless. I'm preaching to the choir here, but there's so many mistakes. But the conversation really needs to be, yes, objectively. The conversation really needs to be about the fact that, guys, Mahadi, I know you're on here. Anybody else listening? If you're a Democrat, I know Mahadi, you're not a Democrat. I'm just saying this to them out there. If you're a lefty or if you're a Democrat, y'all have to be able, we got to stop this fucking nonsense. People on the right, people on the left, we got to stop this nonsense. Objectively, she was running a horrible campaign. There was people out there like myself that was saying during the time, hey, Kamala, you might, like, you're running a objectively a horrible campaign. You might want to do X, Y, and Z. But instead of us coming together and trying to steer her, right? No, y'all are trying to blame black men when we stepped up for Kamala. Y'all blaming black women. Yeah, they stepped up for Kamala. No, guys, she never had a chance. The point of the matter is the identity politics that happened, the whole social media aspect of it, they try to blame us, and it ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. Not in today's age. It's just not gonna work. But we spend so much time online arguing about clear-cut shit that this is what happens. She runs a horrible campaign when literally a month in, people were saying it, like myself. And if we all agreed to that, maybe she could have changed course and did something different, like not spend $5 million to have Meg Thee Stallion come out and dance on fucking stage, not spend $1 million to have Gorilla perform, not spend $10 million to have Beyonce go up there and blink and do her Queen Elizabeth wave. Like, Come on, man. It's just objectively not good. And like I said, during the fucking time that it was happening, it's insulting. And I get so sick of these black entertainers every 4 years doing the same shit, man. Listen, listen. I'm with you, Mahadi. I ain't trying to slander our people and stuff like that. But at the same token, they gotta stop. They gotta stop playing this game, or else they're gonna hear from me. I will go on the attack. It's a slap in the face. I will attack black, white, Indian. Y'all stop spitting on us. Stop it, because y'all are misleading our people. That's what Beyonce. That's what you doing. That's what you doing. You misleading the people. When we find out you got paid $10 million, just like, yeah, granted, like, who would turn down the opportunity if you get a fucking email? Hey, the Kamala campaign wants to negotiate with you. They want you to just, go on stage. You ain't got to perform, just go up there, 5-10 minutes, walk out there with Kelly Rowland, do a little wave, $10 million. Like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Yes. But like at this time, if y'all saying it's so serious and that this is the most important election and stuff, but like our entertainers and stuff, yep, our entertainers and stuff can't even genuinely get behind you. Like, who was genuinely behind Kamala this whole time? That's what I want to know. When the dust dance party would be on. That was funny, Trump. That was funny. That little meme, that little TikTok thing is funny too. But when the dust really settles and we get all these numbers and stuff like that, I want to know like who genuinely. I want to see who's really going to be, because what we found out is that after she lost the election, everybody kicked her back in. Black spaces, white spaces, everybody been kicking her back in. I don't know what news y'all been watching and shit. From what I've been watching, the JBP, the conversation is about how objectively horrible of a campaign she's ran. So everybody been kicking her back in. I want to know who's going to hold the sister up. Who was genuinely behind Kamala the whole time. It don't look like a lot of people was. And granted, I believe a lot of that has to do with whether it was her team, her campaign, or if it's just her being savvy in politics. We never got the real Kamala. We never was able to get the real Kamala. Never. She sat up on Club Shay Shay, and they just dicked around, and he's literally reading off the manuscript. I mean, he's literally reading off of it and asking her the question. She's answering it, then he's barely giving a rebuttal. Like, save that shit for David, man. Save it, man. We see right through that shit. It's 2024, man. Yeah, everyone was in unison during the campaign because no one wanted to pull any votes from her, which I get, but everyone's thinking how awful it was. Don't. I agree, Shane. But I'm saying that strategy, and I understand that strategy, standing in solidarity behind somebody that you're trying to do, but we got to be able to course correct. Maybe, I don't know how we could have done it. I don't know how they could have done it. I wasn't voting for nobody anyway. But we got to be able to course correct, because everybody literally enabled her. When other people from the other side were saying this ain't good, haven't made this, it was all racist and identity politics, and y'all's being racist, and that's the right wing extreme. No, it's just genuinely, objectively, that's not a good strategy, bro. That's not a good strategy. We don't want to hear from Glorilla unless we want to hear from Glorilla. Glorilla, if you're gonna really step, then step. Cardi B, we don't want to hear from you. If you're really gonna step, then step. But every 4 years, y'all being used as a pigeon tool. It just ain't gonna get it done in 2024 when we got so much access to so much information, bro. She refused to go sit down with Dr. Umar. She refused to sit down with 19 Keys. She refused to sit down with the Wall Street Trapper. Like people like that we should have. You could have helped your base there. But again, you really didn't have a lot to pull from. A lot of black people, a lot of black dudes just wasn't gonna vote for you. Period. That was one. Trump kind of got that, but your duty should have been to go out. You did not get rural America at all, bro. Anybody with a truck, anybody with a Ford, anybody that does any regenerative farming, anybody in any of those fields, you did not win. You did not win one county of their votes at all. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And that should make that the Democratic Party, they really have to look in the mirror. It shouldn't be pointing fingers and running this whole Trump's a fascist campaign. Yet, like, we'll get to him, and we'll probably find that out in 2 or 3 years. We'll get to him. But what y'all need to look at is the fact that outside of a pandemic, what y'all ran y'all's campaign, the last 2 campaigns y'all have run, outside of Hillary and outside of Obama, the last 2 campaigns y'all have run, even the Hillary thing. But let's stick to Biden and Kamala Harris. Y'all run on the fact, y'all run solely based on the fact y'all have given us candidates solely on the basis of the fact of not Trump. That's what y'all try to sell the American people. Anybody but Trump. Y'all try to tell people that. And a lot of y'all's bases fell for that. We'll vote for anybody but Trump. But that's not okay. That's not okay. So y'all got to go look in the mirror. Y'all got to go do some self-reflecting that y'all swung so far left. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, I don't even want to get into the identity politics, but this country was going so far extreme. It was literally hijacked. In fact, now the conversation on Twitter, and I love it, the X, is that, and I've been saying this for a year, white America hijacked the word woke, and they demonized this word woke. That was our woke word. Yeah, it was really hard for her to get away from the stink of Biden for real. It was just strategically hard to separate herself from the bad of Biden and not good enough job of how she was going to be different. I agree. And the other side did a good job at cornering her in it. They would not, it was relentlessly brought up the fact that you were in office for 4 years. You're in office right now. Like, denounce the administration right now. And she was not able to do that. It was impossible to do that. And there was actually smoke between her and Biden. If you really get in between and look in between kind of some of that stuff there was smoke in between her and Biden. But we'll see where they go from here. I don't know who they could even run in 2028. Granted, we got a long ways to go, but I don't even see the precipice or the upcoming people next that they could be potentially, kind of grooming for that spot, because they lost Tulsi Gabbard. They lost a lot of people, man. They lost a lot of people that was actually leaning a little bit left or a little bit more moderate. And they went so far left that people that, like I said on my last episode, people that standing in the middle look far right. And it's just not the case. It's just not the case. It's just some people just don't want, their daughter wrestling men, and that's just what it is. And I told y'all on my last thing, I'm not supporting anybody that's funding a genocide. And I know, Mr. Trump, we're going to get into you. I already know you about to get in there and fund a genocide. Neither of y'all have my vote. Neither of y'all have my, because again, Trump is a little bit more free than Kamala. But again, I see, and I've run the record, I don't have it with me, but I've seen who's donated. Again, Zionist people donate. They got their hand in your back pocket. And now here we go with the Israel campaign again. Israel. Ironclad against Israel. It's not going to happen for me. I ain't going out of one side of my mouth, sit there, post during Ramadan. It's going to be hard to get elected as president and denounce Israel. It just is what it is. I already know. You know that I know. It's impossible. It's never been done. Never been done. They're donors and stuff. He said, finish them. He's insane. Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what I always tell our people. What I always tell our people. We champion Malcolm X, but if y'all guys remember what Malcolm X said about the Democrats, and that still rings true today, we have to decide. The lesser of two evils that we have to decide is how do we want the dish served for us? Do we want the dish served medium rare? Or do we want it served to where the steak is done on the outside, but like gets us sick on the inside? Or do we want the dish served to where we know that the steak is not done properly and they're giving us a choice to either eat the steak or not eat the steak, essentially? That's how I look at this. Trump, and the minister talked about this too. Trump is doing things, that the black community, we've never seen somebody. He's attacking the ABC boys and stuff, parts of our government and the deep state that we've never seen before. So I have to, it comes down to who got the better sides for real. Yeah, I have to sit back and watch this fight. That's my job. I have to sit back and watch him fight them. I gotta watch that happen. They like we said, they both got lobbyists and they both are funded by Zionists. Both campaigns. We know that. We know George Soros. The list goes on and on and on for Israeli donors and stuff like that. And they're the big donors. They're the ones that are like, okay, $100 million, to your campaign. But make sure you talk about Israel. We was gonna get this. Listen. we gonna get our smoke either way, guys. It's on. It's on. The war of Armageddon has begun. It's already on. How do you want this dish served? Is the question. Now I know y'all on here, y'all, we may not be actually talking about voting, casting votes. I'm just saying that the Biden administration and stuff was, I covered it for months now. They were talking out of both sides of their they were speaking with two different mouths. They were serving two different masters. They were trying to win votes in one hand, trying to stay ironclad on Israel. We've seen BB continue to march and march and march. He's being, people are trying to charge him with genocide. It's not working because the U.S. ain't getting behind it. That's essentially what's going on. And we say one thing, that we want a ceasefire. We want it to stop. We don't want people hurt, but we continue to give them aid, troops, defense, money, anything you name it. We continue to do it. I ain't cool with that. Trump, on the other hand, said early on that there's no room for any attacks on Israel. We will defend Israel at all costs, finish the job. He wants it finished swiftly. Both initiatives are going to be complete at either administration, guys. Either we was going to get Biden and them speaking, trying to win votes and trying to blind our people and then fund this genocide while it continues to happen anyway, or we're going to get somebody that's just going to, get the job done, essentially. It's a tough pill to swallow, and it's not a pill that I will really want in my cabinets. It's not something that I like. I'm going to speak out about both administrations. And again, really, I wanted to talk a lot about, but I'm getting ready to close up. I wanted to talk a lot about Trump's cabinet that he's picking. It's going to be interesting to try to get Vivek Ramaswamy in there, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. Who else did I say? There's somebody else that I'm blanking on right now. Elon Musk and stuff that really seem to be against this war. And now Trump's policies and a lot of his ideals and stuff is they're calling him an isolationist. And again, I covered this on a lot of my blackout streams and stuff like that. Trump is trying to really operate this country as if it's a business. He's trying to do a NATO withdrawal, which is going to be dangerous. I mean, it's really, really dangerous. But he's trying to. It was also reported today that China, their trade is now at, I think, $1 trillion. Their trade deficit. Our trade deficit, we lose money in our trade deficit. China is gaining $1 trillion. So there is something to be said there. We have to look at that. We know about Trump's plans with these tariffs, especially on Chinese imports. He's trying to do 60%. I think he's definitely bluffing. Now, Trump just plays a game of the art of the deal. And there's some stuff that he does have to actually do because he's playing that game. This one, I think he's just trying to slow the traffic of businesses, offshore businesses and stuff like that. And, the so much imports of our good. And he's trying to really hone in on the fact that America does need to start doing its own manufacturing. We do need to start picking up our own weight in this country. And I don't think that that's a bad message to push. In fact, I think that that conversation actually needs to be had about this country. That whenever have we gotten off our fat ass? I mean, outside, we had slaves to do a lot of the work. Then after that, we've done this country has benefited so much off of immigration and immigrants and stuff like that. We've never really done the hard labor that we've done. Then after that, world trade economy starts happening, and we're getting global trade from everywhere, and we're importing stuff from everywhere. We're not really self-sufficient, self-sustaining as a society ourselves. We're sitting under lots and lots of oil. We still haven't figured out a way to really get into our own oil. I don't know what everybody's kind of opinion on fracking and all that shit is, but the point of the matter is we're not really as self-sustaining as a country as we need to be. The danger in that is that Trump is trying to turn us into an isolationist. Trump is trying. I do think that could potentially help the economy in some sense. Now, granted, There will be a period where it doesn't. If he does pass these tariffs and shit like that, the economy will struggle for a little bit, but eventually, if he was able to see it through, I do think it would be for the betterment of the American people to start being able to produce their own goods. I do believe that. It's just a matter of, will it crash the economy? Could we wait that long? Could we survive? Because you got all these infrastructures now that help with our trade and our import and our export and stuff. It's going to be impossible for them to just. I mean, what? Like, so he passes a law. I mean, we start fracking, we start getting our own oil and stuff. Like, there's first off, to have the infrastructure to be able to do these things, it takes time. And then what about the infrastructure that's going to be leaving? Like a lot of the jobs and stuff that's going to be leaving. So there's a lot to be said there. There's a lot to be had there, a lot to be hashed out there. Essentially, like I said, I do think the isolationist way is very, very interesting. We haven't seen a president really take this approach. And I do believe that Mr. Trump is at very, 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 very grave danger for this because, again, there's just checks and balances, and there's just ways that this country has always operated business. And when you got somebody getting ready to try to operate business outside of the realm that we've never operated, there's people in high ranking places and stuff like that that are just not, they got their own agendas. And you got to remember, oh man, America is an investment itself. America is an investment. There's people out there that invested into America, and America is a product of European nations and others having a baby. America is the baby of other nations. So we're a young nation on this planet. And there's people that invested lots and lots of time, effort, money, bloodshed. There's a lot of that has been invested into this American pot. So for someone to think, if a president gets in power and position enough, I mean, he does have the House, he does have the Senate, so stuff will be passed a little bit easier than before. I think he's becoming a serious threat to the real establishment on how they want things to go down. Now, yes, granted, he is back in Israel. He will back Israel. Mahadia says that's why his business model won't work. Share with me more. Do you mean just simply off the fact that they won't allow it to work, or are you responding to me saying that we don't have the real infrastructure to buy the time for it to work? Please clarify that for me. But yeah, it's just uncharted territory. Essentially, it's uncharted territory for a president to be in this position, to try to withdraw us out of NATO, the trade war with China at the same time, funding Israel, funding the whole situation with Russia. He's trying to get them to strike a deal. The Iran situation, the Taiwan situation, to withdraw us out of NATO or threaten to withdraw us out of NATO when the world is literally on the brink of a war is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. But on the other sense, I do understand from a business aspect, other people, other countries, especially in NATO, a lot of European nations and stuff like that have benefited off of the United States' defense, and they have literally trickled down. They've literally benefited off of our stuff for 75 years now, and it is time for them to pay their fair share. But this is the conundrum America has put herself in. The families who invested in America won't allow that. Yeah, Mahadia, me and you are on the same page. Yeah, I do agree with that. I said on my last episode that I do believe that there might be one more attempt on Mr. Donald J. Trump's life. So it ain't gonna be the inauguration. You didn't hear that from me, but this is serious matters, man. This is serious matters, man. And in fact, the fact that we just gloss over really three confirmed assassination attempts, the latest being from Iran, somebody from Iran that was in New York and hired by Iran, yada, yada, yada. This is supposedly in retaliation to the Soleimani attacks back in 2020. That, Shane, I know you remember that. But I think something else is at hand, man. We know some of those royal families that actually run the shit that have invested into America being a thing. And in fact, guys, this is my last thing here. Let's see. The Federal Reserve chairman, and we know, the Federal Reserve, they're the real boss. They're the real boss. All right, Mr. Jerome Powell. Let me see. Let's run the records. One step down. So this was the news here. Okay, it was Jerome Powell. Trump is trying to excuse him from the Federal Reserve chair position, but he is saying good luck because Jerome Powell was appointed by the Trump administration, but Trump is, I guess, trying to get somebody else in that position. And so Mr. Jerome Powell is saying that, let's see. No. That's exactly what it says. CBS News. Federal Chairman Jerome Powell says he won't resign if Donald Trump asks him to step down. Let's see. He said that he's not permitted under law for presidents to fire or demote the federal chair. So, those checks and balances, that right there, if it's not permitted under federal law for the president to be able to pardon you from your position, who really has the influence and stuff? Trump says that he thinks the U.S. president should have more influence on the federal's decision. So again, Trump is barking up trees that I don't think many people bark up. You do not bark up the Federal Reserve tree. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he is creating a lot of enemies. He's creating a lot of enemies. And I do say there is some ideas that he has kind of I like the Elon idea. Now, y'all know I'm not a big fan of Elon himself, but I do like the concept of Doge. I've never termed it, but I've always thought that there should be something like that. I've always seen how America is operated like a business, and I just wondered why we couldn't why it's so hard for Congress and them to cut spending. Why is that the conversation? Why do we have shutdowns every year at the end of the year? Why can't they cut spending? Why? There's so many things that I would just be like, we don't need this. We don't need it. We don't need it. So the Department of Government Efficiency, I think, is pretty interesting. If you guys remember, this is kind of the same thing that Elon has used with X. When he first purchased X, if you guys remember, he fired a lot of Twitter members. He fired a lot of people. It was a big deal. People thought it was the most fucked up thing. But he cleaned the house, essentially. And it was kind of his whole concept with the Department of Government Efficiency. It wasn't called government efficiency, but it was efficiency. He just feels like, you can get it done with a lot less. And I believe our government can get it done with a lot less. In fact, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I'm kind of, Mahadia, we talked about it at dinner this Sunday, but I'm kind of like, the more and more we get closer and closer and further down this path, I'm like, man, no, the government doesn't need more of our taxes. I'm in support of tax cuts, not just because it benefits me or benefits billionaires and millionaires and people like that. And I'm not saying I'm one. I'm just saying to go from 21% back to 28% or 35% or whatever it may be, for what? So y'all can mismanage our money again. You know what I'm saying? I think for everybody's sake, it's not about, yes, everybody should pay their fair share. Billionaires should contribute, pay their fair share, stop hiding it, blah, 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 blah. Yes. But I'm just saying at some point we do have to look at our government. We got to remember the Boston Tea Party. We got to remember the British and France. And we got to, colonies and so many of this stuff that is our inception started from taxes and stuff like that. And we're to a point to where it's like, dog, we've gone through mad administrations. We've been in $1 trillion of debt for forever, and I can't even remember the last president has cut into the deficit. It's just continuous spending and overspending by our government. At some point, we have to hold them accountable and say, no, y'all don't deserve more money. Like, why should we give y'all more of our taxes? Y'all have a spending issue. That's essentially what this is, bro. And then the whole smack in the face is that this whole year, like everybody in the country, I mean, it's a rarity. Anti-Semitism is up through the roof because it's a rarity to find anybody that's supporting the war in Israel or the war in Ukraine. Like everybody, like simultaneously is essentially saying, like, okay, stop giving them money. And we continue to give them tax money. So it's like, dog, why would we vote for you to raise taxes so y'all can mismanage and misspend our money on shit that we're saying stop? We're saying stop. We don't want you to do that. You're spending literally our money. Y'all should stop. But no, y'all know better. Y'all got better. It's so hypocritical for a country to be $36 trillion in debt and sit there and talk about checks and balances and tell us how to spend our money and all this. America needs to take its own advice because she's eating her own tail a lot. And so essentially what I'm saying is they don't need more of our tax dollars, especially if they cannot invest it or spend it correctly or spend it on the American people how we want it and stuff like that. No, sirree. No, sirree. We all need to go back into history and into our own. We can go back into this country's own very short history and look into why they did what they did. So yeah, that's the episode for today. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Y'all stayed with me the whole time. It was a good little episode. I didn't cover everything. There was some more shit I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to get into Donald Trump's cabinet. I really wanted to talk about the shit going on in Amsterdam with the Tel Aviv soccer team that happened last weekend with the attacks on some of the Jewish people and the fallout from that. They're trying to make a whole nother Anne Frank situation over there in Amsterdam. Save it. I mean, it's like every time we're getting ready, like, here we go. We might, be withdrawing some funds from y'all. And then here they go again. Here they go again. Maybe staging another little attack. I'm over it. They ain't never going to monetize this page. Anyways, this is Lord of Lips. This is on the Know It Alls page. And this is episode 11. Please hit the like, drop a comment, subscribe, share the page. I'm out. Peace. Really?